Hey, there it is.
So how are you in as few words as possible?
Fine.
Mark?
He's not paying any attention.
You told me to not look at my phone, so it looks like I'm engaged before the show. And the first moment in the show, you are looking at your phone, not engaged.
Do as he says, not as he does.
I'm trying to make sure you're not echoing right now.
Monkey see, monkey do.
That's definitely not what he's doing. He was texting someone.
Okay.
Let's see.
Better have been Leo. Because it's freaking Leo week, boys.
Okay.
Jesus Christ, it's Jason Bourne.
No, this isn't charging. God damn.
Why do you say it's Leo week?
Because the last time we had a Leo movie was in 2014, I think.
That can't be true.
Revenant. Yeah, man. He's been on a documentary, tirade, if you will.
So he's been in stuff. He's just not in what you want to see him in.
No, he's been producing like documentaries and like doing, wildlife stuff for like the last 5 years.
This movie is 6 hours long, so it probably took a really long time to make.
True. Could have been the whole time he was out for 5 years, 6 years.
It's very possible. Tarantino likes to work slow.
I could tell those angles and some of those dragged out shots. I could see this movie getting cut down 30 minutes. You say an hour, you're insane. But the acting was incredible. We'll get into that later. But it's Leo.
3 hours long. Nothing needs to be that long. Endgame didn't need to be as long as it was.
How long was Endgame?
I was probably about the same as this.
2 hours, 45 minutes.
It might have even been longer. I think it was close to 3 hours. It might have been past the 3 hours mark, just barely. But
damn.
Mark, how did you feel about me when you walked up to my house today and you saw what I was doing?
I know. You were just succumbing to the whole suburban dad thing. Congrats.
I mean, I am a dog dad.
I guess, yeah. He was, Brick, he was literally fidgeting with his sprinkler, his lawn sprinkler, for 10 minutes. I'm like, what are you doing?
10 minutes, really?
I need to position it correctly so I get the ultimate, widespread sprinkle over my lawn.
You are just as dramatic as my wife, which is really saying something. So
you seem like a lawn person.
Tangent. I am going to the store today, and Erica's mom is coming to watch the dog tomorrow because we're going up to Milwaukee for the Cubs game. So I asked Erica, is there anything you want me to get for your mom? And she's like, can you get bottled water? I pause for a second and I say, okay. In my brain, I'm thinking, I don't need to get bottled water because we have a filtered thing in our fridge.
Yeah.
She says, oh my God, could you be any more angry about this? Because I took that half-second pause. I'm like, are you serious right now? It's either she can read my thoughts, which is terrifying, or she's known me for way too long, which is the more likely and still equally terrifying answer.
I hate bottled water. I hate people that buy bottled water and have access to a faucet with clean water, or have a Brita or a filter or something.
We're killing the oceans, man.
No, I just think it's a waste of money, even though it's a couple bucks for a thing. But yeah, all that plastic, you don't need that shit.
Builds up over time.
Did you just mute your mic again? Okay.
Smithers was so drunk on Saturday, Brick. I recall him saying, wow, I'm really glad it's raining because now my lawn will get some rain.
That's not a drunk thing to say.
That's an old man thing to say.
Look, I turned a year older this week. Thanks everyone who sent their wishes along. I appreciate that. I'm just leaning into it, man. I am what I am. My back hurts all the time. I got a bad knee, bad ankles. I water my lawn, whatever.
Okay. When are you going to yell at someone to get off of your lawn? Just what age do you think that's going to happen?
Years ago. I did that in college.
Okay. Yeah, no, you're ahead of your time.
That's the worst thing
you're ahead of your time.
The worst thing you can do is tell a kid to get off your lawn because likely they're going to be in your neighborhood. They might live a couple houses down. I was that kid growing up. I knew who the lawn lady was, and I would go out of my way to go step on her lawn.
This is just add Brick. Are you hearing this, right? Add it to the list of the reasons why Mark is going to hell. It's not one really bad thing. He's not a murderer, but he's done enough little awful things.
Dude,
you're going to meet St. Peter at those pearly gates, and he's going to be like, get the fuck out of here. Get off my lawn, Mark.
I was a young kid. It's like ding-dong ditching, but we would be like, hey, Jimmy, go run on his lawn. And then
I'm not
you go do
disagreeing,
it.
but I don't care if someone walks across my lawn at all.
Jimmy, your cousin?
No, other Jimmy.
Okay, cool.
I had 4 Jimmy friends.
I don't think it's bad that I'm turning into an older man. Like, I'm calming down. I'm not as angry as I used to be.
No, not true.
It's definitely true. You clearly don't remember me from college.
I do remember you.
So you remember that I was much angrier back
I just
then.
didn't communicate with you much
Well, that's
because you
fair.
looked angry a lot.
I don't blame you for that.
Yeah, so did
By
I.
the way,
Steered clear.
that just triggered something in my brain. Brick, did you see on Twitter this week, Darren Ravel, the consummate D-bag,
Oh, God.
he shared a screenshot of JJ Watt's like access badge to get into the Texans facility, and which is fine because he looks super angry. But the comment under it was JJ Watt looks like he's about to tackle somebody in his access badge. And JJ Watt responded and he said, "That's literally my job, Darren," which is like JJ Watt over the past 3 years has become infinitely more likable than he ever was with all the charity work he did, going on Pardon My Take and not rapping
Being a boner.
on fucking
Yeah.
Hard Knocks.
He played it great. Yeah, he played it off great. Like, he knew he was a square. But he had to be a square in order to be what he wanted to be at the same time. So he, like, balanced it well.
I think he's one of the few genuinely good people in the NFL because I think most
He's
of
just
them
a
are
Wisconsin
probably
boy.
assholes.
Hard worker.
100%.
Is he
Yeah,
recovered?
like,
Is he
Mark's
still
the
injured?
accumulated asshole.
No, he's playing.
He's
Is he?
accumulating small things.
So he's the opposite of Mark. He's accumulating good things. He's doing good deeds. Got it.
Exactly. And he's way more jacked and more fit.
Screw your lawn.
All right. So Dennis is in the chat right now and he's asking a question. Will Birds of Prey be the worst Hot Topic commercial of all time?
There's a good chance, Dennis. If Margot Robbie's in it, I'm not going to be as mad, but I could very much see them doing a Hot Topic trailer based off of Birds of Prey.
It's going to be shot like a Christopher Nolan film where it's just got like the sepia tone over everything.
Yeah.
It's just somebody turned the lights off in the room and that's what it's going to look like for the entire movie.
I guess.
Oh my God, that's exactly it. And that's like, so Margot Robbie is going to be in that, just so you know, Mark.
Thanks. You didn't have
She's
to tell
gonna
me
be-
that.
Okay, good. Well,
We'll get to that later in our new
I
segment.
just
DC's
literally-
fucking up.
Just literally said Margot Robbie would be in the commercial.
so you said if Margot Robbie's in it, and I'm confirming she is in it.
Okay,
So,
thanks.
All
Thanks,
right.
Rick.
Listen, we got a lot of shit to get through this week. You guys can argue later.
Let's get through it.
So last time we recorded was last Friday night, and Comic-Con was just kind of heating up.
Yeah.
By the way, Mark made me sign up for the email list to say as soon as SDCC badges are available, we're going to buy them.
Which won't happen until probably February.
That's fine. How much are they going to cost? Is it going to be like $300?
I don't
Yes.
know. Probably
For a 3-day? Yeah,
It's 4 days, isn't it?
4 days, even more
Probably
expensive.
300, which I don't know, probably $60 a day at least.
Bad. Plus a hotel, and man, we need some Patreon numbers.
Whatever.
Oh,
Anyways,
shit.
my point was we missed the big San Diego Comic-Con news because most of it comes out late Friday, mostly Saturday, and
Yeah.
a lot on Sunday as well. So we got a lot of trailers to get through. I'm just going to go in chronological order of release. So Westworld Season 3. This looks like way more of the futuristic outside world.
It looks awesome.
We're not actually in Westworld anymore. Awesome. It has a bunch of different styles of robots that apparently do different jobs in the real world. They work with Aaron Paul, which would be a cool robot job.
Marshawn Lynch is in the trailer. Kid Cudi.
But also, they
Let's
included
go.
Nazis just for you, Brick.
Exactly. That's what was actually, I was thrilled to see. The new world that they actually are going to be living in is just World War II, classic, nostalgia. Let's go.
They cast the widest nut to make sure that they got everybody involved here. So it seems like we're going
Oh,
to
no
get
kidding.
Dolores versus Bernard here. Whose side is Aaron Paul going to be on?
Dolores.
It kind of looks that way, right?
Yeah.
Based on the trailer. It could be a misdirect. You never know. He might slowly start to realize that she's a psychopath. But they're playing with those ball brain things.
Oh yeah, I forgot
I'm
about those.
Really stoked for this.
I don't know who to root for, to be honest. I'm kind
Dolores.
of up on the. I'm on the fence. I don't know. I'm rooting for whoever Marshawn Lynch is rooting for. So whoever he's on, I'm with him.
I have to go
all the way.
rewatch season 1 and 2. I completely forgot what happened.
You need to get the flu for a week and just stay in bed and watch the whole thing. That's the only way that you're going to sit through that whole thing again.
Yeah, I'm going to watch a 10-minute video of someone explaining it to me because it was all trash. The second season, I could not get behind.
I liked
First one was
it.
amazing.
I look, Mark put on his tinfoil hat for that one. I kind of sat back and was like, I'm not going to get as into this as I was in season 1 because I don't think mentally I was healthy enough to do that again.
My problem is I went so deep into the theories that I actually wasn't paying attention to what was actually happening in the show.
Yeah.
All I cared about were the theories.
This blade of grass is greener than the others. You're missing all plot
Dude,
points.
I have that exact moment that I did that in season 1. It was because they used flies, like bugs, to fly on robots' faces to like simulate that they were actually robots because they just didn't notice. And in one of the scenes, McPoyle's friend that he goes in there with.
Yeah.
McPoyle's friend.
You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
So he like kicks his feet up and a fly lands on his foot and it ends up being completely inconsequential. But I was like, oh my God, that's a sign.
Yeah.
Meant absolutely nothing. So that's what I get.
That show has you pulling out the tinfoil hats for
100%.
sure.
So I'm pretty excited for this, but we still have to wait until 2020 to get it. What's coming earlier to HBO is Watchmen. This is coming in October. If you have not familiarized yourself with the comics or at least watched the movie.
I've seen the movie a bunch of times.
Okay. I think that it's worth watching the extended cut, even though it's 3 hours. I know I'm a hypocrite here, but you can actually pause that and walk away and go to the bathroom and shit and not worry about missing anything. So I think it's worth it. This is going to be a continuation of Alan Moore's original story. So this is cops versus vigilantes, potential for ultra violence because it's an HBO show.
This is like 10, 15 years later, though, right?
We don't know exactly. Like there's some hints because one of the characters says Dr. Manhattan's on fucking Mars, so you know it's after that. You just don't know how far,
how long,
right? So there's another thing I saw that Robert Redford has been cast as President Robert Redford, which is
amazing,
hilarious.
That's kind of funny.
So it's kind of like the Reagan thing, but not the same. So we got our first look at Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah,
kind of
true. Yeah,
you see the hand and stuff
through a screen. It's like a screen in a screen. Him on Mars.
My favorite part of all of this is Damon Lindelof, who's producing the show, versus crazy Alan Moore. Alan Moore, Brick, I assume you don't know this, is a legitimate crazy person. If you Google a picture of Alan Moore and tell me he doesn't look like a fat Gandalf, because that's exactly what he looks like. But he's a psychopath and he hates everyone, and it's fine because he writes good comic books.
A fat Gandalf.
He's a fat Gandalf.
When you said Fat Gandalf, I typed in amazing rather than Alan. What's his face?
Dude.
Okay, so I'm going to tell this story while you look that up.
Alan Moore?
So
Alan Moore, yes.
Damon Lindelof was being interviewed, and he's talking about how Alan Moore doesn't really approve of someone continuing his story. So Lindelof's quote is, "The wrestling match will continue. I do feel like the spirit of Alan Moore is more like a punk rock spirit, a rebellious spirit. And then if you would have told Alan Moore in 85 or 86, you're not allowed to do this because Superman's creator or Swamp Thing's creator doesn't want you to do it, he would say, fuck you, I'm doing it anyways."
So that's why he's doing it.
So what he says is, so I'm channeling the spirit of Alan Moore to tell Alan Moore, fuck you, I'm doing it anyways. Which is brilliant. I'm here for that smoke. Give me more of it.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
Hell yeah.
That's amazing, right, Brick?
Amazing.
But also, I didn't realize that Alan Moore was the guy behind the graphic novel for V for Vendetta, which that movie was one of my all-time.
300. Wait, no.
It was a comic book first, Brick.
Who wrote 300? It was Alan Moore, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think so.
I may be getting them switched up, but yeah, he's a brilliant writer. He's just an asshole, which is probably one of the components for being a brilliant writer, right?
Yeah,
He's
probably
not
up
paying
there.
attention. He's
Definitely
on
up
his phone.
there.
Yes, I agree. I'm looking at what if he did 300 or not because it's going to be.
Got to admit, I think I'm all for this. I'm 3 episodes into The Boys, which is going to be my recommendation for the week, and they're doing a really good job of balancing how they're like superstars, but they're also like political figures at the same time. They're doing the dance well, and they have like the world around The Boys is really well done. So I'm actually super pumped for this new Watchmen movie, especially with now we got Alan Moore-esque V for Vendetta type, vigilantes versus police. I'm all about that.
See, that's
It's
interesting
hot
because
right now.
this is kind of the opposite of The Boys. Like in Watchmen, the heroes are the pariahs. So, yeah, that's super interesting. Also, I'm very jealous that you're already 3 episodes into The Boys, which literally dropped today. Because I have to wait for Erica because I made the mistake of describing this show to Erica, and she's like, "You have to wait to watch it with me." So here we are.
She put her foot down. Yep.
All right, let's move on. Snowpiercer on TBS.
What is this?
Okay, I'm gonna
You
give you the
guys
brief
haven't seen this
synopsis.
yet?
I
guys see the
have
Chris Evans
not
one?
seen the Chris Evans Snowpiercer movie from 2007 or whatever.
I think it was
Or
like
14.
2014.
14, yeah.
I think
Okay.
it's on Netflix. That's where I watched it the first time. But so this is 7 years after an environmental crisis basically ruins Earth and creates an ice age. So maybe nuclear winter, whatever. They don't really get into it. But the last humans on Earth live on a train that's perpetually moving and just kind of travels the globe. The train operates basically, it's like a caste system. It's like lower class and then middle class, upper class.
It's like Polar Express.
Nothing like Polar Express.
Okay, go on.
Nothing like Polar
It's
Express.
the opposite of that.
Just keep going.
Okay. So-
Josh Groban's in it though.
Okay, great.
Just kidding.
CGI Jim
not.
Carrey's.
So all the poor people are in the back of the train and they're struggling to survive and they have to do like all the bullshit work and they're trying to serve the people in first class and middle class. Obviously there's an uprising and that's the basis of the story.
Okay.
But the original movie was brutal and
Does the train ever stop moving?
no,
You
because
can't, or else they'll
the
freeze.
whole, the whole premise is if it stops, it will freeze.
So it's like 60 second or 60. What is that?
Speed.
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 Yeah. Damn it.
Close.
Gone in 60 seconds.
You were mixing those up. But like at one point in this, to punish a guy, they stuck his arm outside of the train
Yeah.
and it basically they stick it outside for like 10 seconds, bring him back in. It's totally frostbitten and black and they just like break his arm off.
Damn.
So it's brutal and it's a good movie. This show feels completely unnecessary. Brick, did you
I
feel
agree.
differently?
It came out like what in 2014, right? With Chris Evans.
Yeah.
So, like I think I caught this one with Wilpo in Wilpo's basement, actually, and just it was on, but like we got intrigued by it because it actually was a decent movie. But it's one of those like, oh, it's on TV, so I'll watch it. But I don't think this warrants a TV show. I agree.
I thought the trailer looked
I don't know.
horrible.
Yeah, it kind of does. I just don't know what they could possibly do that the movie didn't. So
Nothing.
it's-
I watched the trailer. I
didn't
watched
watch
the
the
trailer
movie.
for both of them, and they're the same thing with no Chris Evans, actually.
honestly, the movie's worth a watch.
Okay.
If you get a chance, give it a shot. Okay, let's move on. Harley Quinn on DC Universe. The trailer literally starts with her saying, "It's me, dickhead." So it's like, it's not your mama's cartoon.
Whoa.
And it's Kaylee
Language.
Cuoco. Diedrich Baker's in this. I saw JB Smoove is in this. So there's like a ton of voices here.
Tony Hale.
Tony
Stuck out
Hale's
for
in
me.
it, but boy, this looks real bad.
Doesn't look
I
that
like
good, in my opinion.
I'm still going to give it a
Marco's here.
chance.
Oh, we're good.
Shit.
What happened? Oh, we're back.
All right, we're back. I'm still going to give this a chance. I assume you will too, because I love cartoons. I love adult cartoons.
And
I
we
love Harley
bought
Quinn.
the
and-
subscription service. So
yeah,
we're gonna watch
plus
it
we
anyway.
have that. So I don't know. It's just
I think what's her last name? Cuoco.
Quokka.
Kaylee
Kaylee
Cuoco. I think she'll do a good job voicing Harley Quinn. I just think the story is just going to be meh.
It doesn't
Say her
even
name
have to be
again,
that good of a
Mark?
story though if it's funny.
Huh?
Say her name again.
Kaylee Cuoco. What's her last name?
Quoko.
Cuoco. Is it Cuoco? Like
Is
Coco?
it time, Brick?
No, it's not. Go ahead.
right.
Go.
Okay. Yeah, it's just like just in case you thought this for kids, I'm going to throw a dickhead in there and somebody else is going to say shit, but also I'm going to do a Fortnite dance.
Yeah, she's doing the floss. I'm like, that's enough. It's enough of that.
I don't know, man. I just don't get what you're going for here.
They're going for all audiences is what they're going for. We want the adult humor, but we also want the kids that do the Fortnite dances. Uh-oh. That was me doing the Fortnite dance.
Everybody on the podcast heard you do the Fortnite
One
dance.
of the creators, I was watching like a DC Universe, whatever, backstage episode they were doing after Comic-Con, and one of the creators said he wanted it to be like a DC animated Arrested Development, which was kind of weird when he said that.
Such a tall order.
I know. We'll see.
Okay.
Well, half of it's a tall order. The rest of it can be whatever.
They'll have to have the most running gags and deep cut jokes ever.
Yeah.
But, okay.
I'm in. I think that would make sense for people who like DC too, if they can do those long running jokes and then make fun of like who they are, kind of.
I
See if they
guess.
have a good comedic side.
All right, let's move on. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Mark, stop crying.
Oh my God, man.
What do you say about this?
This was my childhood, though. I watched so much Mr. Rogers growing up.
I'm kind of surprised by that. Like, I thought that was more my generation, the generations before.
Are you surprised because I just turned out shitty?
Yes.
I have a good heart, though.
Why are you?
Deep
No,
down.
you
Deep,
don't.
deep.
You have
like real deep.
You don't even
down.
have a heart. You have you have the Dick Cheney pacemaker where you don't even have a heartbeat.
Just beats like this. Bup, 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 bup.
What?
You know, I was surprised that Mark was a big fan of Mr. Rogers too, because like I was kind of at the tail end of that. I feel like Mr. Rogers was like I saw a couple episodes. Mark Price saw it and was like, "Let's go step on Mrs. Johnson's grass," and was like watching it from the window.
That wasn't in my Mr. Rogers days. That was more in like my Arthur and Zoom days. Like coming home from school, I'm just like, I'm gonna go fuck with Mrs. whatever her name is and fuck with her grass.
Fair enough.
I don't know what it was about Zoom. It just got me angry. You know what Zoom is on PBS? They like
Yes.
making
Dude.
arts and crafts. I'm like, I don't have any of those materials to make arts and crafts right now. I'm pissed.
You know,
Get
I
out your
fully recall having
AC/DC
the
welder.
same debacle.
They're making like the coolest, like they have all this like special glue. They're making these paper airplanes, but they have like propellers on them. I'm like, I can't do any of that. My mom's not even home yet. How do I get that shit?
My mom went out for milk hours ago.
Yeah, she's not bad.
Days ago, even.
The one thing I wanted to say about this is like, sure, the movie looks great. It's Tom Hanks. He's the best. But on Twitter, an actress named Ellen Barkin, who's a little bit older, I don't recognize anything that she's been in, but she had some thoughts on other child-centric celebrities. She said Captain Kangaroo told her to fuck off when she was a little girl.
What?
Basically, what she's trying to get across is not everyone who was like a child-centric actor or performer was a good person, and you should hold on to Mr. Rogers while you can.
Yeah,
I
like
think she also
Bill
said something
Cosby.
about how, he wasn't really he had a sitcom, but he wasn't really child-centric.
No, he was Mr. Bill or Little Bill. You
Oh,
ever
that-
watched Little Bill?
Jesus
The
Christ.
Cosby.
Well, he brought
Little
back
Bill.
He was a creator of it.
he brought back Fat Albert too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's actually surprisingly good. I feel like you've been working on that.
Best thing you've
There was
ever
somebody
done.
else that she
Organic.
said told her to fuck off. I think it was the lady from Lamb Chops. Remember Lamb Chops?
She would just sit there on a bench and just have the puppet.
Yeah, and apparently,
What a weirdo.
apparently that woman was really bitter because people were recognizing Lamb Chops more than they were her, and she just kind of took that with her. So apparently, people who do kids shows are assholes. That's
Not
what I took
Mr.
away.
Rogers.
Not except for Mr. Rogers. So I would never speak ill of
Pure
him.
soul.
All right, let's get weirder.
Pure
Jojo Rabbit.
soul. That was pretty weird. It's his pure soul. It's from the demon himself, Mark, over here.
It's a pure soul, is what he is.
Brick, I'm going to let you describe Jojo Rabbit.
It's a period piece.
Okay, so yeah, honestly, it looks like Moonrise Kingdom, but instead of
lore.
it being like Boy Scouts, it's just with actual World War II characters,
Nazis.
like Hitler. Yeah, well, Nazis. Okay, so they're like little kids at a Nazi camp, and like Hitler's their like camp counselor, and it looks actually fucking hilarious.
So the guy that's playing Hitler is Taika Waititi, who you'd recognize from Thor and what
I
We Do
had
in the
no
Shadows.
idea what he looked like, and I was blown
Really?
away when I saw what he looked like.
Yeah, well,
Dude,
I
have
mean,
no. I'm blown. Go ahead.
I mean, this is not what he really looks like because he's wearing a Hitler mustache. He's got
I
his
get
hair
it.
slicked back.
I just thought he was like a bigger gentleman.
No. He's a very fit Kiwi, New Zealander, if you will.
Okay.
So I don't. This is gonna premiere at Toronto International Film Festival, which we should probably also go to. Let's just go to Toronto.
Okay.
Yeah, fuck it.
I'm down.
I was just there. It's sick.
You're
Great
so
town, great
traveled.
airport.
Was it better than Italy?
Nothing was better than Italy. Magnifico. Mwah.
This has a star-studded cast, though. Scarlett Johansson, Sam Rockwell, Stephen Merchant, Rebel Wilson, Alfie Allen, a.k.a. Reek. This is big.
If there's one thing that we can agree on, Smithers, at least me and you, Sam Rockwell is amazing. We love Sam Rockwell.
One of
We're
the
big
best in the game right
Rockwell
now.
podcast.
Not close.
Mark, what's your stance on Sam Rockwell?
He's all right.
Of course.
Fuck you, Mark.
course.
DC boy. God damn it. Fucking
Just because he's
shit.
never been
Sorry.
Batman. Fuck you. Okay. We got another trailer for Gemini Man. So this is the second one. We covered this before, so we won't get into it. It's Will Smith versus young Will Smith. Mark, have you changed your stance on the potential for this?
No.
Why?
Kind of. The digital humanized CGI now, or whatever they're calling it, looks better in this trailer.
I just call it de-aging.
Yeah, there was a whole behind the scenes thing that they did, which I posted
I
on
don't care
Instagram.
about any of that.
They're calling it some different shit now because
It's
they're
de-aging.
They've supposedly never did anything like this. They're recreating his whole face without doing what they've done typically in other movies like Star Wars with Princess Leia and shit like that.
But he's still acting both parts, right?
I believe so. But
Okay,
anyway,
so he's
off
de-aging.
topic a little
Anyways.
bit. Whatever. I don't know. This story is meh. There's some parts in the trailer that I think were pretty cool when he like shoots the grenade back at him and stuff like that, and he's chasing him.
He punches a guy in the face with a dirt bike tire.
Yeah.
It's going back to Triple X.
I know.
What's not
Dude,
to
how are
like?
you
It looks
How are you
decent.
not sold on this, Mark? What you're all about Jason Bourne's super soldier technology and being like, "What am I? Oh my god, I can't believe it."
I have a big
Give me a drink.
problem
Eyebrow.
with CGI faces. If somebody is de-aged or if they're recreating them through CGI, if I'm in the movie and there's a lot of scenes with that person in it, I just have a problem. Like, I cannot be convinced like that is supposed to actually be a person.
Wow. How unprofessional is this?
Wow. Also,
anyways,
fuck you, Mark.
Thanks for calling in, Robin.
This is what I think of this next movie. Jan Michael Vincent. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
It's just, but with Will Smith.
It's Jan
Jan
Michael
Michael
Vincent's plural.
When do you think it's
Exactly.
going to be the
There's
point where
8
they actually
Jan Michael Vincent.
when do you think they're going to actually be able to CGI somebody and you won't have any idea that they're CGI'd?
We're awfully close to just being able to clone people. And
I
we'll
was
just,
honestly,
we'll just clone Will Smith.
I don't mean like actually cloning to where we create a new human.
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean
telling you
through-
that's when you're not going to be able to tell though. As soon as they
Okay.
just start cloning Leonardo DiCaprio and they're just like
But digitally, you're saying
Jan Michael Vincent's.
you don't think digitally will ever be able to do it.
I think it's fine now.
hey, I agree.
You can
Do you
tell
remember
that.
that episode in Love, Death, and Robots with, I think that actress from the Black,
Orange is the New
Orange
Black.
is the Black. Yeah, that was very freaking close CGI wise. I thought
Completely
she
disagree.
was her. I had that moment.
No,
I think we're very close. And like I've explained this before, I won't get into it, but the more
uncanny
the
valley
more
stuff.
footage you have of somebody as a young person, the easier it is. So obviously there's
We
so
have a
much
shit ton.
fresh prints out there of
Yeah.
Will Smith. It's going to be I think that they're still working on this. It's not coming out still for a couple months. They're still putting the final touches on this. By the time it comes out, you'll be like, all right, that looks pretty damn good.
okay,
Plus, if you look back to Fresh Prince, it was all
CGI'd.
480p low def.
I know. Yeah.
So whatever.
Okay.
Okay, last trailer, and this is a big one. Zombieland Double Tap.
You guys are gonna hate me.
You didn't like the original, did you?
I've never seen Zombieland.
It's on Netflix.
Okay, I'll watch it.
It's actually
I will
leaving
watch
Netflix
it this weekend.
before I think this is going out as soon as we turn to August, so you have to watch it this weekend.
Okay.
It's actually worth a watch in my opinion.
It's an excellent
one
movie.
of the all-time. There's one of an all-time cameos in there.
I've seen parts of it. I've just never. I don't know what the story is about. I've never watched it.
It's about zombies. There's no story. It's just zombies.
Okay.
But it's
just zombies.
I've seen them arguing in the carnival. That's all I remember.
going to be really hard to top the first one. But the way that they set this up in the trailer,
Fuck.
just, like giving all of them their Oscar credentials is fucking brilliant, because then they slow everything down and like all of them have guns and they're just murdering zombies.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. But
I just fucked up real bad.
let's hear it.
And I just ruined. I looked up Zombieland Double Tap on IMDb to look at the cast, because there was one person that I always forget his name, Thomas Middleditch. When I saw him in the trailer, I was like, okay, I'm fully sold on this. Like, this reminded me of how good the first one actually was. But then as looking at it, I saw a couple other people in here that I didn't want to see, that I know are just ruined cameos now.
Okay,
so
shut up.
I just fucked them up.
I don't want to hear it.
Yep.
But the beauty of this is
You
that
just
it's
saw the cameos that are going to happen in the movie.
Fucking yeah, oopsie. God damn it.
Damn.
Don't IMDb it. I got too deep in a wormhole. No.
okay. What's beautiful about the first one and potentially this one is it kind of shows the lighter side of what would be a post-apocalyptic scenario.
Whoa.
Because it shows what, like, Woody Harrelson going to the White House and just sitting in the Oval Office and drinking out of the president's mug. Like, that's probably what I would do. The other thing this reminded me of is Last Man on Earth, which unfortunately got canceled. But that's basically what they did. They just went around because nobody was left on Earth, and you just go do whatever the fuck you want. Go drive a Ferrari or a monster truck or whatever. And
they went to like the OC and just like lived there in all these rich people houses.
A monster
Brilliant
truck.
movie.
When's the last time you saw a monster truck? They even have monster truck rallies anymore?
I'm
Is there
Gravedigger.
a Gravedigger anymore? Or the one
Yes.
with the horns? What was that? Bull? The Raging Bull, maybe, or something?
I don't know, but Bigfoot is the most popular one ever, so it doesn't
No,
matter.
disagree. Gravedigger.
No, Bigfoot is the most popular monster truck ever.
Gravedigger.
Gravedigger was a minivan on big tires.
It had a cool paint job.
Dude, Bigfoot is the best
Had that
monster truck of all
neon
time.
green and black.
I will fight you over this.
It was spooky.
You
All right.
fucking suck.
Next.
Dude. Brick, what's your pick a side?
I was gonna agree with Gravedigger.
I'm coming to
Adam.
Denver. I'm gonna fucking put my butt in your face.
Gravedigger's ready.
Jesus, I hate you
He
guys.
would have that voice, I feel. But he had like the spooky green flames, dude, and like the skull.
Yeah, let's go.
It was a minivan.
It wasn't a minivan, dude. It was sick.
Okay, Google it. The
am
one
looking
thing
at it
I'm
right
mad
now.
about with this trailer in Zombieland 2, the doppelgangers at the end, like the Owen or Luke Wilson and Thomas Middleditch cameo kills me, cracks me up. Stop showing me the jokes. I'm good now. I don't need to see any more. I'm already sold on this.
That's the difference. Is I thought I was sold once they showed me Thomas Middleditch in there. I was like, this is him and Eisenberg are just actual twins.
They are, and I get the joke, but also stop ruining all the jokes.
No, but I think that's going to be a running joke. I hope it's a running joke that it's like they're the same. So I introduce it in the trailer. That's fine with me. And I'm known for not liking trailers.
Okay. You guys want to get into like news proper? Because I think I've talked through all the trailers now.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Great. So a guy named Simu Liu is going to be our Shang-Chi,
Simu.
the master of martial arts. Dude had an all-time tweet about it, though.
Yes, he did. And that's amazing. I saw that. Fuck yeah.
I made sure to include visual aids in the notes this week that I sent to you guys, but the tweet reads like this. Hard to believe that a week ago I was just sitting at my desk in my underwear eating shrimp crackers, and now, okay, well, I'm still doing that, but I'm also a superhero. Relatable as fuck. I already
Love
like
that.
this guy. He's clearly got some comedic chops. Yeah, we're here for it.
Cool.
That's literally, organic for sure. Amazing. Organic humor is great. That's not going to be just written. He's going to be able to do some things on the go. I hope they give him some freedom too.
But we also got the reveal that it's going to be the Mandarin as the villain in this. And the real Mandarin, not the fake one that we got in Iron Man 3. The guy who was just playing an evil villain.
Yeah.
So I
Ben Kingsley.
included another visual aid for this because it's really hard to explain. But basically, the Mandarin is a guy.
It's basically an infinity gauntlet of rings.
It's not though,
Like
because
10 rings?
he
But
just
there's
has
10.
all of them.
But
They
they're
come
all-
from an alien planet. He's got 10 rings and he's got them all immediately. It's just a bunch of different weird powers. But yeah, it is kind of the same idea as the.
What if he takes one off? He doesn't have that power.
I'm
I'm sure
Yeah.
there's a plot where somebody tries to steal the rings from him.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
a bunch of different people have had the rings, but they're not as
not as powerful.
and
Okay.
they're not as rare. Make sense?
What if you have them all at once? Do they create a
You're a
super
badass?
ring force? No. Okay.
No, you can't just like snap half the universe out of existence.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a detriment to him. Like there's one called, I'm looking at it right now, The Liar, creates a world upon the world of an illusionary fable, as impossible to escape its tangle of dreams, but vexes the wearer as well. So it's like he kind of gets fucking absorbed into that dream too. So it's not as, like you're saying, as powerful as the Infinity Gauntlets, but it has
Infinity
some good perks.
stones. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously it's the same idea, but I mean, how many different stories are all like, oh, look at, if I gather all these powerful things, I'm
Yeah,
Sonic,
I'm a
yeah, literally
badass.
everything.
It's every story, but I'm excited for this. The guy that's going to play the Mandarin, apparently his English is a little rough. I'm not familiar with any of his work, but also he's a super badass martial artist. So cool. Give me a kung fu flick set in modern day.
All I used to watch was Jackie Chan movies.
That's
What was the
that's
last-
what you think of when you think kung fu is Jackie Chan.
No, I'm talking about like struggling to speak English.
Oh.
He doesn't need to be able to speak English well. As long
No.
as he can kick ass and actually act and play the role, he'll be fine.
Jackie Chan's the man. Where the fuck has Jackie Chan been? Let me look at
Jackie Chan's
Oh my
absolutely
God.
the man, but he did a movie last year that we didn't see. It was something. It was like Taken, but it was Jackie Chan Taken.
He just came out with a
What?
trailer with Travolta, didn't he?
I missed that one.
Or no, it's with Schwarzenegger. He's doing a movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I swear. All right.
I'm not.
We'll talk about
I'm
it
not
out
doubting
there.
you. I just don't know what it
There's
is.
some trailer out
Okay.
there doing some movie together.
Let me back up because I do another old man thing,
Okay.
but I'm going to blame Drunk Erica for this.
Okay.
You've called me out on this. I watch TV with the subtitles on.
I do that for a couple shows, one being Peaky Blinders.
I was going to say you got to be Peaky Blinders.
Yeah, you have to do Peaky Blinders with subtitles. But yeah, you do it with every show, and I don't think I'd go that far.
I just, it's not that I do it intentionally. It's that she turns it on because her mom is hard of hearing. And so she's used to it. So now I don't even realize that it's on. But it's definitely an old man thing. 100% get that.
I would actually agree that you do, in some sense, pick up more things when you actually read what they're saying, because you don't always
Absolutely.
catch what they say.
You might catch like a
think you might
background.
know.
Game of Thrones was infamous for this. You would hear somebody arguing in the background, and it was just like it wasn't important to the plot, but you're just like, that guy's an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it.
Yeah.
So back to that Jackie Chan Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. It's called The Mystery of Dragon Seal: Journey to China, which is basically
Wasn't
an English traveler. It's
Wasn't
a
this
Peter
both
the
of their
Great
projects?
movie.
Didn't they like co-write this or something? Does it say anything about that?
Damn, can you imagine writing a movie with Jackie Chan? That'd be so fucking cool.
No.
Like, this is where you
Broke
dive
everything.
under a chair and then throw it and hit the guy in the dick.
The guy is nuts.
In the dick. Sorry.
Yeah, my
No, it doesn't
cookies.
say anything about that writers. Nothing about the writers.
Okay, it's all right.
All right, we'll move
Alexei
on then.
Petrukin and some other name I'm going to butcher. So, next.
We got a whole bunch of Marvel news, so I'm going to keep going with this here.
Okay,
Mahershala Ali is going to play Blade, and
that's
fuck yes.
the best cast.
It's amazing.
perfect. It's a perfect match.
No other details on whether or not this is going to be a TV show or a movie. I don't care. I'm already in for this. He's obviously shown that he's willing to do a TV show if this goes to Disney Plus. I think I might actually prefer it that way, but Blade needs to be a little rated R. It's just like that's the nature of the story.
Does Blade ever come into like an Avengers universe or X-Men or anything like
Oh
that?
yeah.
Don't you think that would be somewhat of the downfall of putting him in a TV show? Is you don't have that opportunity to put him in those big blockbuster movies?
That's not true
Oh.
because you're going to get Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany in a TV show. You're going to get
Who's doing Loki? Is it
Mackie.
Hiddleston. Yeah,
Okay.
he's going to be. You got Anthony Mackie
Shit,
and
that's
Sebastian
weird,
Stan.
though.
Not really. You can do crossovers. Like, there's no problem with that.
I know, but I just think it's weird. Give me an example of when they.
Colby Smulders.
Yes.
TV show to
the other
big screen.
guy whose name escapes me, but it was also in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
The guy.
You know who I'm talking about. But they did the
main-
whole thing. The setup of the Winter Soldier is they lead into it in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and they're like, oh, we've got a mole. And then Winter Soldier drops that Friday after it airs like on a Tuesday. Then the next week in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they're dealing with the fallout of Hail Hydra, and S.H.I.E.L.D. is compromised by Hydra.
But are they?
So they've done it before.
I'm talking about the specific characters, the actors that are playing those characters. They have the actors of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in those movies.
Agent Coulson? Yeah,
Oh shit. Okay.
absolutely.
I've never watched any Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So
I haven't either. And now that you said that, I'm actually pretty bummed that I didn't get to witness that little aftermath. Because if I did see all these movies like the moment they came out, so it's like that would have been cool to see the little behind the scenes episodes of those.
It actually was really well done. So
Marvel does it right.
I think they can pull it off. If anybody's going to do it, it's going to be Disney. So, speaking of more of that, Natalie Portman is returning to the Thor verse.
What's that movie called?
The Mighty Thor. Love and something Thunder. Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
I didn't really pay
Sweet.
that much attention to the title, but incels of the internet, beware, because you're getting a female Thor whether you like it or not.
Whoa!
I just never
What
understood. I still don't understand her getting the name Thor when it's his name. Like
It's
his
the
actual
inscription
name.
on Mjolnir says, I can't read it verbatim, but it's like, whoever is worthy to wield this shall wield the powers of the mighty Thor.
It's like if you marry Cher, you got to just take over Cher's name. You just become Cher.
There you go.
Shareman.
That's a
Shareman.
perfect analogy.
Okay, that
job.
makes sense. That makes complete sense.
So
okay.
the idea in the comics was, for a certain time, there was like this it's kind of weird, but there was this all-seeing guy who was literally just a giant eyeball. Like, that was his character design, and he saw everything. And then he whispers something to Thor that says, like, you don't find out until way later, but it makes Thor realize or question his worthiness to wield Mjolnir. So he goes to pick up Mjolnir and he can't. And that's when Jane Foster swoops in. She picks it up. All of a sudden, she's Thor.
And she was just a normal Jane before.
No,
She was a plain Jane.
she.
Nice.
Thanks for that 3-6 reference.
Nice, Mark. I'm happy I came back for that one.
Wish I had a drop for that. But the whole story is, and I don't know if this is going to be how the movie goes, but she is riddled with cancer.
Okay.
So she's like dying on her deathbed, but as soon as she picks up Mjolnir, she's super healthy. The female mighty Thor, like, she's ready to go. So I don't know. We'll see how they do this.
So you think
Just know
that
nothing
Natalie
about
Portman
this
should become a
character.
female Thor?
It's Thor. Like, that's all you really need to know is it's got the powers of Thor.
But
they'll
it's
be
not,
dealing with
it's not Thor, though.
your.
Like Thor doesn't lose his powers if she gets his powers, is what he's saying, right, Mark?
And you're saying the hammer is what gives her...
Yes, but also
How can she pick up the hammer?
because she's worthy.
Oh,
How
okay.
can Captain America pick up the hammer? He's worthy.
Why didn't
super
Captain America
strong,
turn
I
into
thought.
Thor then? And why didn't Thor lose his powers?
The Hulk can't pick up Mjolnir.
Why is he not worthy? Because he's just crazy, batshit crazy.
I guess. I don't know.
Batman.
Because he's a dick.
It's better than all this.
Batman,
He's a
could
cumulative
not-
280
Batman
minor-
100% could not pick up Mjolnir.
He'd figure out how to create a device that would pick it
No
up for him.
chance, dude. He's too much of an asshole.
The Batmaneer. What's that thing called?
All right, I'm super not pumped about this movie, but okay.
Fuck you. It's Taika Waititi writing it again. He did Thor Ragnarok. You know it's going to be good. It's just Mark is super sexist and doesn't want a female Thor.
That's not it at all. But by the way, weren't like all.
By the way, fuck women.
no. But by the way, weren't all people like pissed off at what's her I want to say
Natalie
Nicole
Portman?
Yeah, Natalie Portman for a while. Didn't she She was signed up for other Thor movies. Didn't she just like leave?
I don't think so.
'Cause she had-
I think she might have had other projects, but I don't think she ever was like, fuck this, I'm not doing it.
Oh, I thought it was that.
Maybe you're right. I don't know. I don't remember reading that. But let's get away from Marvel news, okay?
Okay, fine with that.
Brick, The Boys has already been renewed for season 2.
It's a no. You'll understand why it needs to be renewed within the first 10 minutes of the show. But that's okay. That's pretty heavy-handed, but it's okay. I'm into it.
I'm not mad about it. I've never read the comics, but I'm also super excited about it. So
Our guy Chuck read the comics, right? Mark? What did you say about that?
What the?
it's fucking Erica being drunk.
Didn't Chuck read the comics and they said
Yeah,
they
I
were
watched
like
Chuck's show this past week, and supposedly he wasn't too fond of the comics. Didn't think they were that great.
Chuckload of comics? That is
Yes,
for all of our listeners. But he's liking the show, right?
but yeah,
Or
I
did he
mean, if
not?
Chuck didn't like the comics, I'm like, wow, I'm not going to read the comics.
Well, Chuck likes more things than I tend to like.
Chuck likes everything.
That's not
seen him
true.
like
I know
anything.
I've heard him say bad things before. It's just usually he's a little more laid back than I am.
Optimistic.
Like, yeah,
He puts
he's
it in a nice way. You put it
so
in like
much-
this movie.
yeah.
sucks
You're just a
wieners.
dick.
no question. Totally agree. Chuck is infinitely nicer than I'll ever be.
That's
But
my
the point
goes
is,
for about
The
that,
Boys is
but
coming back for season 2. That's it.
I know. I heard the show
Yeah,
was great.
I'm pumped. So yes,
Super
watch
graphic.
watch it. You guys love it.
Okay. I assume that since they're books, neither of you have read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
No,
Okay.
No,
Hulu is doing a
Spot on.
TV show
you're a
of this.
dick, by the way. Since they're books,
I just assume that you wouldn't read something without pictures.
I guess.
Okay.
I don't even read things with
Books.
pictures. Fuck that.
I couldn't even get you to read fucking comics.
I know.
I promise this is exciting for people who have actually read the books. Maybe people saw the movie. It was kind of underwhelming. Wasn't that great, but there is so much to pull here from Douglas Adams. There's, I think, 6 books in this series. I've read the first
wow.
3. Really
What
good
was the
stuff.
movie
It's
about?
really funny, like over the top stupid. I'm very excited
the-
for this.
Was the movie about one specific book completely, or just like a part of a book,
It
or
was
what?
about the very first book. Yeah. So basically, aliens come to Earth and say, we're going to destroy Earth because we're going to put in an intergalactic highway here. So he gets taken off of Earth right before it happens, and he just kind of like has to figure shit out as he goes along. It's a great book. Actually, the movie's pretty good if you're into that kind of thing, but I don't know. I mention this because it appeals to me.
They couldn't just put the highway around, like
You would think so.
just looped it around.
Then you wouldn't have a story for a book.
I guess
Yeah,
not.
or have you ever made an international highway, Mark? I don't think it's that easy.
It's
Okay.
You couldn't
intergalactic,
just
but
bridge it over Earth.
International, intergalactic. Yep.
International highway. You idiot.
And I made either one. I don't think so. So if you can't make an international highway, intergalactic, way out of your league, dog.
all right. This week in DC's fucking up, Mark.
What happened?
Where's our Joker trailer?
I don't know. We're not going to get one.
What the fuck, man?
Yeah, I know. The anticipation sucks.
You're supposed to be having. We're not that far away from this movie.
I'm pissed because I don't think the reveal compared to Marvel's reveals at San Diego Comic-Con, like what the fuck? What reveals do they have? The new Harley Quinn show, a couple more animated series.
DC had
Titans 2 is coming back, and then there was one other thing that I can't think of. Or Doom Patrol's coming back too, but
Titans is coming back.
where the fuck are the movies?
I don't know. You tell me. DC's fucking up.
I'm pissed too. No, that's what I'm telling you. I'm pissed.
Great. Well, DC's fucking up.
Fuck. Brick, what's going on?
I'm happy they didn't drop a trailer for the
What?
Joker.
I don't
There's already
care.
been so much seen about it. There's already been so much. Give me. I saw the trailer in the movie that we're reviewing this week, and I was like, I'm happy to see that was still there. And I don't need any more information. It's gonna be good.
And the more I watch it, it's like, oh, it's not based off the comics. And the trailer showed before Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I'm like, oh, there's Arkham. Oh, there's Ace Chemical. Oh, there's this. Like all stuff related back to the comics. I still don't get why he came out with that. I understand there's going to be differences from the stories we know, like Killing Joke.
It's not gonna be any different. It'll be exactly like a comic book story. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever.
Shall we move on then?
We shall. Best.
Best?
Make your birthday first. Worst.
The worst. She's the worst
What is the
person in the
percentage
world.
chance that he has a best man?
Terrible, but thank you.
2%.
2%?
Like my phone battery right now.
Brick, do you have a best man alive?
I have 2.
Wow. Fuck you, Mark.
Wow.
2% more
you'd
like
have
2,000,000%, bitches. All right,
All right,
first
Brick,
of
go
all, best man alive, David Zarzinski, who actually developed and helped with Mark on making our new logo. We got a new logo. It's fucking bitchin' and dope. Well done. So he's first best man alive. So sick. Number 2 is there is a group of people taking a hike in actual mountains, and this buffalo just comes in and upends this child.
I saw that video. Just
The
flip
video
the
was
child.
hilarious.
Fucking
It was
wreck
a
shop
perfect-
on this little girl. Good
It was a
Lord.
perfect dip the head, flip it over and then she almost stuck the landing. It looked like because she did a full flip. But
they
I
on,
hope
like, a tour?
I think she was okay.
At Yellowstone or something? Like, was there a tour guy like, hey guys, come on. Bison are known
Yeah.
to be very friendly. Let's get up close, shall we? Come on.
Yeah,
Let's get
real
real
picky.
close. And then just boom.
So
there is-
stupid.
Flips
Definitely
the little girl.
there's a gung ho guy right in the very front of that long line of people walking next to this giant buffalo, and this little girl just could not get away. She just got fully launched. Oh man, it was just like think about those things that are in like lakes that if they're big giant blow up, and then you like one person sits at the very end and one person jumps off the bridge to
The
like
blob.
launch.
Yeah, the
air.
blobs.
That's the blob,
blob.
from fucking
That's the
Heavyweights.
blob. Yes, the blob from Heavyweights.
It
Think of
looked like
that.
she got
This
blobbed,
little
is what
girl
you're saying?
blobbed in the air. Just a yellow shirt getting launched. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Sick.
That's my 2 best and best alive. Go ahead.
Mark, who's your best man alive?
It's actually the worst couple alive. I don't have anyone best. I had a bad week. But last night when I was seeing this damn movie, I won't say damn movie. It was a
This
pretty
dang
good
This
movie.
fucking movie.
Oh my God. So this couple walks in late, and I have never turned to somebody and asked them to be quiet. Like, I always refrain, and usually it's never gotten to that point. Somebody else comes in quicker than I do.
Most people have
Nobody
respect.
was saying anything. This couple came in late, like 5-7 minutes late or so, and we're just talking to each other like they were in the grocery store. And this one guy next to me looked at me, and I'm just like, we both kind of like sat up, and I'm just like, can you be quiet?
Mark, first of all,
Can you be quiet?
Mark spread his lats out. It was like, yo. It was like,
Yo, dude.
he lowered his voice a few octaves. It was like, yo, you want to be quiet over there?
Mark's in his natural habitat when he's in the movie theaters, and he expands his lats just so that the projector gets enough shadow to make him look bigger than he appears.
It was honestly the most
that's what he
ignorant shit
strikes.
I've ever experienced any human do.
Thanks,
Like,
Crocodile Hunter.
it was bad. Like, you're probably thinking I'm over exaggerating.
No, dude,
It was
not-
like we're talking right now.
Not at all. So anytime I'm not out with drunk Erica, I will tell someone to fuck off. I can't do it in front of her.
Yeah.
Because she gets real mad.
Sometimes have you done that in a movie theater?
Not in a movie theater.
To tell people to shut up.
Oh, I thought
I
you
do
meant-
that a lot.
I thought you literally meant fuck off.
I mean,
I did.
I would.
Okay.
What I've been
Okay.
doing lately is anytime I see somebody smoking a cigarette and they like, flip the cigarette butt out of their car,
Yeah.
I'll pull up next to them and say, "That's not a trash can."
Really?
That's a dad move. You're
That
really
bothers
growing
me
into
so
yourself.
fucking much. Dude. Like,
Cigarette butts?
it's fine if you want to kill yourself with cigarettes, but fucking throw your cigarettes away. That's such a
Don't kill the
shitty
earth.
thing to do.
All right, so back to the other shitty thing to do of sitting in seats and being loud. My first move before I actually like say something is if I hear somebody talking, I will do the adjustment in the chair to like make sure that people like, oh, is somebody like looking at us talking so loud? I'll do the chair adjustment, but I won't go and be like, shut the fuck up, bitch. It's a movie. I won't.
You
do
are
that.
Larry David to the max.
Wait, you think a chair, like the squeaking when you chair adjust? Is that what
Well,
you're
yeah,
talking
you-
about? It
because
bothers
then you assume people are looking at you. If like,
you? Yeah.
I'll do the look. You're
That's
like,
1,000,000%
the
not
look
going
is
to
my
stop
next move.
anybody.
I
the
also
look.
saw
My look stops people.
I also witnessed something very disturbing on the
Due south.
the L coming home on the CTA. Some guy was wearing fleece pajama pants in the subway. I couldn't get over it. That's so gross. I don't know
You just
what
met
it is.
Real life George Costanza.
I don't know what it is. Like
Sweatpants?
no, pajama, thin
I know.
pajama fleece
I was referring
pants.
to a Seinfeld episode.
Comfy pants do not belong in gross settings.
You know,
at
it's just
all.
weird to me because it's like 90 degrees out right now.
Exactly, and it's maybe 20 degrees hotter down in the subway. This is down in the subway.
No, down in the subway is cooler.
No, it's not.
Yeah, 100%.
Not on the blue line.
Heat
But
rises.
Right, okay, I'm not going to argue with you.
Anyways, this guy was wearing like the flannel fleece pajama pants and just sitting on the subway, and I was just disgusted. I'm like, dude, let me get you like Wranglers or something. Like, you cannot be comfy. You can't
Bird dog.
try to be comfy on the subway. Pajama pants do not belong in a gross setting like that. Does that not bother?
Okay.
Would that not bother?
No,
you?
I don't give a flying fuck.
Fine with it. I'm fine with it. I would drape myself in velvet if it was socially acceptable.
That's gross. Not on the subway. Can't do that. Just all cashmere.
That was a Costanza line. But God.
I
Yeah,
need
okay.
a,
There's a dot on there.
I need a
Sorry,
ruling on
hands.
this one. Okay. I sent this to you guys. I put it on the Discord, which, by the way, join our Discord because it's actually kind of funny.
We love our Discord.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yo, Smithers and I are on our. We're fighting to get the number 2 in one spot. But
Yeah, and way to take the credit for creating the Discord, Brick. Which you
Yeah,
didn't
clearly
do.
100%
I
did.
created the Discord.
Which you didn't do.
I also redesigned our logo.
Yeah.
So fuck you. Anyways, this quote unquote artist named Sabo is going all over Hollywood and basically modifying
Oh, God.
billboards for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, putting faces over Brad Pitt and Leo DiCaprio.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is Roman Polanski and the other one is Jeffrey Epstein. They're both either accused or convicted diddlers. Roman Polanski is a
More
diddler.
convicted, yeah.
Jeffrey Epstein is basically a convicted diddler,
Yeah.
but he's also awaiting trial. But he's also like writing over it Once Upon a Time in Pedowood.
Mm-hmm.
oh God,
I think this is a good thing. I
I
think
saw
this is
those
the best
signs.
man
Those
alive
are
because first
way
of all,
over the top.
it's funny, right?
is.
But also he's calling attention to the diddlers.
which you're all about.
Well,
Roman Polanski was convicted of rape, wasn't he?
it's statutory, so he was having sex with a minor, and it's not.
Okay, yeah.
Look, I'm not going to get all fucking semantics on you. It's not technically forcing. It's just
Yeah. Okay.
the
Yes.
assumption is someone's
Yes.
not old
I
enough
got
to
it.
make a decision for themselves.
Which
doesn't
they,
matter.
They
He's a
actually have a
diddler.
part in the movie that goes into that.
I was
Okay.
gonna say, yeah.
Okay, but you can't have a movie about Sharon Tate, whose husband was Roman Polanski at the time of the Manson family murders, without having Roman Polanski in it, right? Like, you have to at least loosely reference him. He's in it very minimally. I don't know. I'm kind of torn on this because it kind of seems like this guy's making it out as though Tarantino's like, oh, Polanski's not a bad guy, and that's not at all what I gathered from this movie.
Tell us what happened with Polanski, and I know he killed his wife, but like, what else?
He
Is
had
there anything
sex
more
with a
you can
minor.
tell us?
That's it.
He didn't kill his wife.
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, you'll have to look that up. I'm not super up to date on this, but what he's mad about is that Polanski's like a diddler. So that's the issue here, and that's why he's modifying these billboards, and it's like bus stops everywhere and shit, and they're just like pasting faces over these and saying Once Upon a Time in Pedowood. I don't know if this is Best Man Alive or Worst Man Alive because he probably hasn't seen the movie. He was already just kind of like putting this judgment across it.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm looking for judgment here. Somebody weigh in.
Oh,
I knew nothing about this news story, and to your point, there's not a lot of Roman Polanski in this movie, and I don't even think he was around with Sharon Tate that much. He was just a shitty ass person. If you read about him or seen any documentaries about him, you realize yes, he was just really shitty.
He sucks.
Sharon Tate fell in love with him while she was on set while he was directing or
Because
producing
she
whatever
liked
movie.
men who look like little boys, apparently.
Yep. And I think it was accurate to not put him in this that much because I don't think he was around.
He didn't
According
get
to my
murdered.
parents, because the funny thing is I was telling my parents what movie we were reviewing, and they were just like blowing my mind with stuff. My dad knew all three murderers that were involved.
Of course,
in the
he did.
Manson.
He's an attorney.
Yeah, but he was like naming all the shit. I'm just like, I had no idea.
Well, it is accurate because if Polanski was around, he would have been murdered too.
Mm-hmm.
But he's still alive. So
Yeah.
Okay. That is my very ham-fisted segue into Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
All right.
We good to go on that? Brick, you look like you're still Googling.
I was Googling, yeah. And then, it just looks like she was part of the Manson murders, and she and her 8-month-old, she was 8 months old pregnant when she got murdered, and Polanski wasn't there. So that's all I got from that. He didn't kill her. Yeah. She was part of the Manson.
So Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, 87% on Rotten Tomatoes, 83% from fans. This is Quentin Tarantino's 9th film. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh no, I'm gonna throw up a spoiler warning later in this for the visual Facebook stream. So keep in mind, I will call out spoilers later. But this is Tarantino's 9th film. Follows a guy named Rick Dalton, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, and Cliff Booth, played by Brad Pitt.
Let's go.
Rick fucking Dalton. I can't do a southern accent.
Fucking
Rick
Dalton.
fucking Dalton.
You know what's funny about that is anytime I hang around my dad long enough, I actually kind of move into that southern accent kind of thing, even though neither of us are from the South.
Really?
Little
My dad just
twang.
talks that way. Yeah. Anyways, so this is set in Hollywood in the late 1960s as Rick Dalton tries to extend both of their careers. Cliff Booth is his stuntman. So if you've seen a trailer for this, you pretty much know what's going on, right? Also,
The trailer was like the first 10 minutes of the movie, I feel, was basically majority of the trailer,
think
in
so.
my opinion. They did a lot of the quick cuts. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Okay. So this also has Margot Robbie, Al Pacino, Timothy Olyphant, Kurt Russell. This is Luke Perry's final appearance in a movie before his unfortunate death. Other people, I guess. This got a $95 million budget, which I assume goes to pay all these fucking gigantic name stars.
Yeah, everyone's in this.
And also, this is ready to gross like $50 million domestically this weekend. So I think this is one of those things where people realize that it's a Tarantino movie and they are just going to take money on the back end, and that's why the budget's so low.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this would be like Endgame level budget.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mark, describe the jackness and the gruesome Tarantino murderosity.
Jackness, I think you got to give it to Brad Pitt.
Still keeping it together.
And
yeah.
we get a Bruce Lee in this too. One of the best scenes in the movie.
Don't get me started.
You didn't like that scene? It was an accurate fighting techniques.
First of all, Bruce Lee was arrogant. He was not that arrogant. I'm sorry. Anybody watching the stream right now is going to see me reach under the couch because I just dropped my wedding ring.
Just leave it.
No, I want it right now because
All right,
I play
get it.
with it constantly. I don't think Bruce Lee was that big of an asshole. Go ahead.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Have you ever met Bruce Lee, dude?
The gruesomeness and goriness of the film, we'll get into spoilers.
Well, was it good?
It
or
was
bad?
not. It Tarantino level. It was a 6
Okay.
in Tarantino level.
Brick, do you agree?
6.5, but I thought they built the suspense extremely well, regardless of the Quentin Tarantino amount of bloodlust that Mark has.
Okay, that's fair. Is this a comedy? Because it's funny, but it's not like ha ha funny.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
Do you know what
consider
I
this a
mean?
comedy.
It's like I giggled. Like there are good lines. Brad Pitt in this is actually funny.
He's my favorite character in the whole thing, honestly.
Okay, I was going to get to that question too, actually, but let's just address that now. You don't necessarily have to pick between Brad Pitt and Leo, but I assume they were the best.
That little girl, honestly, who Leo was acting with,
Dude.
was no.
She's a fucking killer. She's from a pretty popular sitcom. It's called American Housewife on ABC. She's hilarious in that show. She's going to be huge. I guarantee it because she can already act and she's like 10.
It seems like she's witty too, and she's like with it. If you could have a scene like that with Leonardo DiCaprio, then you're like, you got some skills and talent.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
I mean, obviously we can just get into the acting on this because it was fucking out of this world. I think Leo and Brad both deserve Best Actor nominations for this movie because both of them were fucking out of this world. I think they'll probably Taron Egerton will probably end up getting it just because everybody loved Rocket Man, even though I haven't seen it yet. But
I saw that it was good. I thought Leo did a better job acting, in my opinion, than.
But neither of them are really supporting actors. Like they both share equal screen time, I think. Like who's the main character in this? Do you think?
Brad Pitt, I would say the support character in this position.
I think he might have had more screen time than Leo did. It's close.
Damn, I don't know. It is close because he did have that very intense scene at the old Western park.
Yeah, at the movie lot.
He had the most intense scenes, and then he also had like the final scene was mainly with Brad Pitt too.
Yeah.
So that's a weird thing to address, actually. That I think. Good point.
But also Leo's fake / real acting scenes were some of the best acting I've ever seen. He's amazing in this movie.
That's mind blowing to be able to do that kind of thing. Acting's hard enough to act as an emotional actor is just
he's basically being
unreal.
3 people instead of 2.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, it's so well done.
Damn. That's so amazing to think about. It's a movie within a movie. That's so weird. His rant when he forgets like his lines early on was amazing. And then to like go back out and just crush the next line was, oh my God. Leo, the acting
and then just start crying randomly.
Top fucking tier acting. Leo,
yeah, it was brilliant.
So that little girl in that scene, supposedly people are saying it may be based off of Jodie Foster as a young kid because she was that age around like the early to mid 70s, and she was starring in westerns when she was a child at like the age of 10.
So you were telling me that this is kind of sort of loosely based on
Burt Reynolds and his stuntman. Yeah, that as well.
See, I don't remember Burt Reynolds being in that many westerns, but maybe that's just like one of the things that Tarantino was like, whatever, we'll kind of massage it.
Yeah.
So sure, I buy that.
I think it's more based around the his moving into like the Italian films. I think Burt Reynolds dabbled in some, I don't know if they were Italian, but international films. Sure. I don't know.
Porn.
There's a lot to this movie that I feel like my parents are going to go see this and appreciate so much more of it, like recognize the posters in the movie theaters of the movies and the previews.
Well, I saw like Dean Martin on a movie poster and shit like that.
Yeah, you recognize, but I don't know those movies. I never really grew up and watched the movies from the early 60s and so on. So I think there's going to be a certain age group, which is probably the baby boomer age type thing, that are going to really appreciate this film.
Yeah, I saw a lot of movies actually from that era. My dad loved those kind of movies, so I would always watch them. And I thought they did a really good job of, capturing the era. I went to a movie theater actually called the Alamo that was basically it was a new modern theater, but it's all made with retro stuff. So I was walking through the aisle to my movie. It was all 80s like kung fu. So I was like, this is the perfect place for a Tarantino film. And the way they captured the era was just, spot on. Before the movie started, they had like 5 to 10 minutes of just TV that would be, if you were scrolling through a TV during that time frame, this is what you'd be seeing. So they really captured the era for me, just even before the movie. But overall, it was spot on.
I have to slightly disagree with what you're saying in capturing the era, because if you go watch one of these westerns from the 60s, the acting is so fucking bad. Mm-hmm. They thought that acting back then was just like talking really loudly when you got upset. They acted circles around any fucking movie from the 1960s in this. And it's Leo, even when he's overacting on purpose, it's so much better. So my mom watches that shit all the time, and I'll walk in and I'll just be like, this is so terrible.
However, there was parts in the movies where I think that was also one of the greatest parts of this film is when they cut back to where you're in Leonardo DiCaprio's character's old movies that he used to do. They do the flashbacks and everything. But there were also movies like
film strips, like 16 millimeter and like
35 millimeter. Yeah.
I don't think this isn't a spoiler, but there's a part where Sharon Tate is Margot Robbie's character watching herself in Wrecking Crew, one of the movies she did where there's a fighting scene. And that's actually Sharon Tate she's watching. So you might get confused not knowing. You might be like, wait, that's not her on the movie screen. Like, what's
confused.
going on?
I thought she lied to get into the theater. I was like,
no.
who the fuck?
Yes,
And
that's why people
afterwards.
like us are not going to really understand
Don't
this
lump
movie.
me into that category. I know movies.
You didn't know what that movie
Yes, I
was.
did. I knew because I read it.
You read them.
I read ahead of time.
Oh, okay. All right. But anyways, yeah. Our generation going into see this movie without reading all the this is what it meant type thing will not understand it fully. But they did leave it. My point is they did leave in some of those actual movies.
Okay.
But yeah, they dubbed in Leonardo in some parts.
Yeah. All right.
I thought that was actually pretty cool because they dubbed in the part where he was, acting. He almost got that one part by Steve McQueen,
that
and
was insane. That was so
That was-
well done.
yeah, they
looked like he
dubbed
was
in
the
Leonardo
greatest
DiCaprio
ape.
Yeah.
doing
Oh my God.
fantastic. So back to your point of and them introducing the real editing the films for the era was spot on. It was awesome.
Yeah, so I can't say. Look, it's a Tarantino movie. It's directed like a Tarantino movie. It's written like a Tarantino movie. It's super well done, very well made. People made a big stink over. This is the first time that he's editing a movie without the help of the person who's edited his first 8 movies. The name is escaping me, so I'm sorry, but the editing was different. It wasn't bad, but you still have the vintage Tarantino scenes like what you just described versus the remake of The Great Escape. There's one scene that stood out to me so blatantly. It was when Rick Dalton is fucking up in a movie. In the movie he's doing with Timothy Olyphant, he goes back to his trailer. He's trying to yell at himself, and he's looking in the mirror, and the shot is angled such that you see through the mirror that Leo is looking directly at you, making eye contact.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
brilliantly
I know exactly
shot.
what you're
It's
talking
so
about.
well done. I saw that and I was like, holy shit, this is such a Tarantino thing.
I even enjoyed the whole sequence prior to that, before him freaking out, what led him to freak out, and him just kind of fucking up acting, or just deep down you knew he didn't want to be doing this role.
Yeah.
Line. Yeah, he just kept saying line, but
Yeah.
doing it
the
really
camera
well. And then
pan
you're
around him when they do a camera pan throughout the whole sequence, and there's a specific scene where he's talking to Timothy Olyphant, and they're doing the scene, and then they have to redo it, so the camera goes back and repans, and it was just
And they do it all. That's a one shot.
Yeah.
They cut back and they move the camera back, and it's a one shot. It's so well done.
Yeah.
That's
I love-
Tarantino.
one shots are where it's at. If you can do a well executed one shot, it's will elevate the fuck out of the movie. What was the movie Atomic Blonde that did that one shot in the stairwell at the very end of the movie?
Yep.
That was insane and elevated that movie to the next tier for me, just because the one shots. So I'm a big fan of that.
Not only that, but I mean he wedges in things like Chekhov's flamethrower. That's so
yes.
Tarantino. But
you
also,
knew that was going to happen,
of
right?
course.
And
And he puts it so subtly in the background of that shot when when Brad Pitt's going into his shed to just get some tools. It's so well done. But also,
God damn it! I need to see this movie again because it's actually so many little things.
why is Tarantino shoving his dirty foot fetish into our faces?
I don't know if that's gross or if the
Do it.
pajama
Who
pants
cares?
on the L is more gross. I'm
No,
not
the
sure.
dirty feet is grosser.
Okay.
We don't
Maybe.
sex shame on this podcast.
I'm not sex shaming.
You just did.
That's not true at all. It's fine if he's into dirty feet, but I'm not, and I don't want to see dirty feet.
There was dirty feet everywhere in that movie. Every
If
single.
you had to
I don't
guess,
mi- I don't mind dirty.
how many dirty feet did you see? 13?
I mean, none of them wore shoes.
Yeah, because they're hippies.
Yeah.
It was the 70s, yeah.
All right, so let's
And
talk
hold on,
about
speaking of shoes. Brad Pitt's moccasins or whatever
Oh my
those
God,
were. They didn't have a sole. They were just leather or whatever.
They
He was
purposely
wearing
zoomed
socks,
in on those
mocca
so
socks.
many times.
Yeah.
They were just like, "Yo, check out Brad Pitt's feet." it was kind of funny after a while.
Oh shit.
All right, let's talk about the actual plot though, because I'm struggling to grasp how I feel about this movie. Obviously, the acting and the directing were brilliant. The plot is where I'm really. People are trying to tell me that I didn't get it, but they can't explain to me what I didn't get. So
Okay. So I think you are not sure what's. I mean, everyone knows what this movie was about, which is about Hollywood in the 1960s, 70s, and the Charleston Manson murders. And I think because everyone knew that it was about the Charleston Manson murders, Quentin Tarantino played the opposite of that. You know, he built the suspense because you think everyone's going to get murdered in this movie because it's a Quentin Tarantino film, but he builds the suspense more and then executes like a final scene that's insane. So I just think he played the fence the other way.
I disagree in you saying that this is about the Manson family murders. I don't think it is. And I think that he built up a lot of hype by kind of throwing that in there and saying it's kind of related to that, but it's really not. What this is a love letter to what film was before the Manson family murders. And Quentin Tarantino has always talked about this idea of hangout movies, like a really slow burn that kind of it makes you feel like you're friends with the characters, and it makes you fall in love with them. And I get that. It just I understand that he wanted to play with alternate timelines. I understand that he wanted you to care deeply about everybody. I don't know what I'm missing about this that couldn't have made this movie 45 minutes shorter.
Yeah, my one issue was it was long. It was long. I didn't necessarily understand what was going on at all times. I wanted to. It was beautifully shot. The acting was great. We already said that. But other than that, yeah, I was waiting to back up Brick a little bit. I was waiting for some Tarantino shit to go down, like him to just all of a sudden snap at the end. And he does that. He's done that in all of his past movies where it's a calm setting and then some shit goes down and you're like, okay. And then it goes back to being a calm setting and them acting through the story, whatever. And then the final build up scene, which happened in this. But I think my issue is that I wish I just had a little bit more background as to what exactly I was watching. I understood for the most part the whole concept behind it. I think, to your point with the love letter, I agree with that. I think he also wanted to show us what Hollywood is really like, and not necessarily just back then. I think a lot of people just think all together like these people are back there and they don't struggle and go through shit like that, and some of them aren't.
Leo
insane.
did a lot of crying.
Yeah. It's
which he's good at, by the way.
Yeah. So I think he was trying to give us a glimpse into, yes, what was happening during that time period, but what also maybe is happening or has happened in general. Like what we think we know as Hollywood movies aren't necessarily what we always think they are. That makes sense.
Behind the scenes of like what a TV actor trying to make it into movie films like kind of goes through. I thought the trailer was actually more like, like Rick Dalton is this hotshot movie star already, and I think I thought that the trailer kind of led to believe that he and Margot Robbie were going to kind of get into it, because like even when he says like, oh I've been living next door to this the whole time,
that scene was not in the movie. The one that was in the trailer is not in the movie, where he's talking about where he's like jealous of her.
No, it's the first. It showed a picture of her, but it stopped after. Oh, I didn't know I was living next to this person the whole time, but it didn't say the person. But he says that about Roman Polanski because he wants to get into film.
Right.
So they do have it, but it's like they do purpose misdirect in the trailer, which I mean I appreciate that.
So look, I love how beautifully shot this was, but I didn't need 15 minutes of Brad Pitt driving through Hollywood. I didn't need the masturbatory thing that everybody from fucking LA does, where they're like, "Oh, did you take this highway? No, I took this highway." I don't fucking care.
I have to disagree with those scenes though, because
The soundtrack.
the soundtrack was
the soundtrack
key
was
during
fantastic.
those
The
moments.
soundtrack was like amazing.
When they were driving, I think the soundtrack was pretty spot on for the mood of what was happening during that scene.
Not going to argue with that, but this movie did not need to be 2 hours and 45 minutes long. And if you're going to cut something, it's either you cut all of Sharon Tate because she added basically nothing to the film, or you cut Brad Pitt driving around.
Well, Sharon Tate was one of the victims of the Manson murders, so you thought that she was going to be murdered throughout the entire movie, and that's what
I
one of my
understand
friends.
that. It's just it didn't end up adding anything, and it's just I don't know. I don't know. I
Spoilers.
guess we need to rate this, right?
Okay.
Before we get into spoilers.
Yes.
So, Brick,
Sure.
why don't you tell me what you thought? Give me a recommendation.
I actually didn't want this movie to end. I know you guys said it was very long, but I thought I was very intrigued by, the overall acting of it was fantastic. And the pacing was very good too, I thought. I just they built suspense so perfectly. I wish they would have had more than one of those classic Quentin Tarantino scenes. I guess they did have a couple early on, but it was like in the early on, and then the very end stages was like the classic bloodlust part of Quentin Tarantino.
I'd
So
say
I'm gonna
there
go
were
say
two Tarantino scenes total.
yes, but I'm gonna go see it now. Go to the Alamo and see it in the Retro Theater. It's amazing. Go ahead.
All right, Mark, what do you think?
I kind of want to say stream it, not because
you.
not because I didn't enjoy this movie. I honestly think I would have enjoyed it more just being at home and watching it and
Being able to take a piss break?
take a piss, maybe be able to pause it and look into like research things and get a better understanding.
What are the significance of these dates that they're showing me?
Yeah.
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 That would have been very cool. I wish this movie was streaming on Amazon Prime, because Amazon Prime does the perfect little tidbits of little trivia if you want to
Oh,
stop
at the
and
bottom,
look at.
they
like,
do good shit with that, with
You
all the
said
actors
dude.
and everything. They do.
I got the best one that I got Rick rolled in a trivia. It was insane. I'll send it to you guys in the Discord.
All right, so you say stream it?
I'm gonna say stream it.
I'm going to agree, stream it, just because it's so fucking long. I can't believe
fuck?
that you, Brick, with the shortest attention span of anyone I've ever met,
Yeah, I'm kind of blown.
for you to say that I couldn't, or I didn't want this movie to end, blows my mind.
Is Leonardo DiCaprio your favorite actor, though? I'm getting that vibe.
Yeah, he's the man. He's going for the gold.
You look so creepy right now, by the way.
Yeah, it's like super black in the background.
Hang on.
You look like Charles Manson.
Yeah, so I'm going to say stream it. You don't need to go see this in the theater. It doesn't add anything to see it in the theater. If you have a nice sound system at home, and I don't know, it'll be on HBO probably soon. It's good. I really struggled with this because I came home and I was super mad because of how long it was, and I felt like the payoff wasn't worth the time investment. Mm-hmm. We can talk about that in spoilers, but that's my recommendation. So, all that said, I'm going to throw the spoilers sign up on the stream and say from here on out we're going to spoil it. Check the show notes if you don't want to catch any of the things that might ruin it for you. So let's talk spoilers. Are we just cool with the fact that Cliff murdered his wife?
That
they just
happen,
wrote
right?
that in.
Left it kind of open in the movie.
They don't give us any reason to disagree with that.
Did he do it with a harpoon? Is that what?
See, that's the thing,
was
is
he
this is a
picking up-
Tarantino movie. Like, you should show me. She gets up, he yells at him, he just fucking harpoons her in the face.
Yeah. I
And then
was
she gets launched
confused
off.
about that too. I'm like, wouldn't Tarantino usually show him killing her?
That's so everybody's saying on the internet, from everything I read, like that's how he's building tension, because you expect a Tarantino thing doesn't happen,
Fuck you.
equals tension.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily agree with that. I see it in some points, but no, that doesn't do it for me.
That did it for me. I did like that, actually. I mean, I would have rather seen her get harpooned off a boat, like you guys
So
are
it
saying.
didn't do it for you then.
Yeah, it's not like you
no,
had
it
you had
didn't.
two things. It didn't
It
happen, or
did not do it for me. I wasn't like, oh man, he should have harpooned her off the boat. No, I was like, oh man, that was intense. And did he kill her? And it left me a little open ended. You never know. She's like out on the high seas, giving him tood. Yo, fucking harpoon that bitch. But you don't know.
I thought it was funny that he had like the poster of her in his trailer.
yeah.
And
What about his dog though?
dude, the dog was the best actor in the entire film.
I love that dog.
Can we nominate that dog for best actress because she was amazing?
I was getting real afraid towards the end that something was going to happen bad with that dog. And I was like, it's better fucking out or I'm walking out of here.
Well, I was really
hours
worried that we
and
were going to have
30
to do
minutes
like the dog death warning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would not have been a fan of that.
Happy we didn't. It would have been a treatment for me if that was the case.
Good call. They did show a dead mouse though. That didn't sit well with me, or a dying mouse, I guess.
Yeah.
Whatever. Let's talk about the implications of Tarantino's change to actual history
Events.
because
The implication, okay.
the implications. So the idea is, Mark, I assume that you had to kind of look into this or talk to your parents about it afterwards because basically what they're talking about is, and the reason why the dates they show are so important is that the final date that they show is when the initial Manson family murders happened.
The 9th of August or 8th, right?
August 9th, 1969. That's when Tex and two other girls show up to Sharon Tate's house and kill everybody in the house. That doesn't happen in this movie. So basically, it's an alternate reality.
Yes.
Right? Which we already kind of knew because there was no Leo and Brad Pitt character there. Like that wasn't a thing. So what happens is these shitbag hippies show up in this cul-de-sac. Leo hears them, comes out and yells at them, tells them to fuck off. They back up out of the cul-de-sac and they say, change of plans. Instead of going into Sharon Tate's house and killing everybody, let's go into his house and kill everybody.
Yeah.
That's where we get the Tarantino scene. That's where we get the can of dog food to the face, which is brutal.
That girl had it the worst, I'm pretty sure, right? And then she got eaten by the dog, and then she got thrown into the pool, and then she got flamethrowered by
Chekhov's flamethrower. Thank you.
I think since we're in spoilers, we should actually go into the ultimate build-up scene that is Tarantino, which is
all-time scene.
So it starts off with a face-off between Tex and Brad Pitt's character Cliff.
No. It starts off with Brad Pitt smoking an acid cigarette, and he is starting to trip on acid, and they do a fantastic job of him like looking at his hand, waving in front of himself, and like him being all fucked up, talking to his dog. And
He's definitely done acid, right?
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. He's literally locked and loaded. He's knows the whole experience. He's done the rigmarole, if you will.
Yeah, he points at his dog and then he like looks at his hand. He's like, "Oh my god!"
I always appreciate the realism in that because you know that certain people have and certain people have not done acid. Brad Pitt feels like a guy who's done acid.
Yeah, and he's letting all the people know that haven't. Like, this is kind of what goes down.
Yeah.
But
so
anyway,
go ahead, Mark.
No, all I was saying is I just want to talk about you have to talk about Tarantino's gruesome death scenes and the whole brawl or all the carnage starts off with him just basically commanding his dog to go bite Tex, the one guy in this Manson group that's there to kill them all, and he bites him in the dick and just starts tearing him apart, and then it's just an all-out brawl.
And then he throws the can of dog food at that girl's face.
Yeah, just completely shatters
watching
her
her
nose.
nose just explode was so brutal. Also,
yeah,
Brad
he pulled
Pitt
out a
just
money ball.
destroys that girl's face like into everything that is around him. This is so Tarantino, but also I wanted more of the Tarantino-ness.
Yeah, Brick, I'll let you describe the final death with the girl that had the can of dog food thrown at her face.
So yeah, she got pelted in the face. Brad Pitt moneyballed her in the face with a can of dog food. Then she got eaten alive, basically, by the pit bull. And then, how did the wall break through?
No, it was like a glass sliding door or something.
Yeah, he just her face is all fucked up and she just breaks through like a pane of glass.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyone who overacted, it was that girl.
Holy shit. But you know that was Tarantino being like, give me everything you got.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. That's why I didn't falter at all. But she was just like, like she was like an exorcist.
Like shooting in the air, flailing, or yeah, totally.
Like in the pool, like you've come down, you're in the pool, like relax. I know you can't see, and they made the makeup gruesome for her. But then Leo's like sitting in his pool, listening to what song was listening to is something actually good. Oh my god,
what was it? Like Mamas and the Papas or some shit.
They had
that was
Kelsey
Dreamin', and that was a great track to have in it. But it wasn't what he was singing; it was something else. But he's just in his pool, and she just comes out, and he leaves his pool after like she's shooting a gun up in the air, and he grabs this his bitchin' ass flamethrower where he kills all the Nazis. Anyone orders fried sauerkraut, whoosh, and he just fucking lights into her. But he says that in the first part, but.
Yeah.
He just literally burns her to death, and she's like had the worst death of all time. Meanwhile, Brad Pitt's in the house and fighting this other girl, and then smashes her face into about 12 different objects. Just kept face smashing her into all these things.
And then he gets the knife in his leg, and he's just so drugged up. He's like, oh my God. He's like tapping
the best part is when he looks at Tex and he goes, are you real? And Tex goes, real as a donut. What? What happened here? What did I miss? Yeah, didn't quite get
Brad
that.
Pitt
But
literally slayed that entire role. I loved how chill he was. He was the best.
What else do you guys want to talk about in the spoilers?
I want to talk about George, when he goes to the ranch.
Okay.
That scene was so fucking intense because everything that they built up for, and he knows the Charleston Manson murders and everything, and they're like, I thought George was fucking dead immediately. Obviously, George is dead. Quentin Tarantino was gonna be a bloodbath in there. But they built.
I think you're right. I agree. I had the same thought, but that was the quote unquote tension that you get out of this is like you think there's going to be a Tarantino scene and then there's not. Mm-hmm. So it's more to me more of a letdown than it is tension, if that makes sense.
But then he just like absolutely goes off in the final scene. That was the difference, though.
I guess it to make it all worth it is it just wasn't there for me. That's why it's a stream it from me.
Yeah, I wish they would have went into Squeaky a little bit more, who's Dakota Fanning's character.
Oscar winner.
Squeaky actually, she went to jail for life. She wasn't she was a part of the Manson murders to the extent that she was involved knowing about everything.
And she was an accessory to murder.
Yeah. But anyway, she tried killing President Gerald Ford, and that's why she actually went to prison for life. But I wish somewhat of what we saw in that scene was true. What's his last name? Spawn Farms? Right?
Spawn. SPAHN.
So that was the real name of the farm, or what do you want to call it? The ranch. The ranch.
It's a ranch, yeah.
The set. Because they shot a lot of Western movies.
Spawn Ranch is
supposedly.
What it's called, yeah.
But yeah, he was, I don't know if he had dementia or blind or whatever, but that was a real person that lived there that let Manson do all the shit there because he promised him all this money and girls and all that shit. But my other point was back to, I was just looking at things that actually happened. So Margot, when Sharon Tate was in the restaurant, that was the actual restaurant. It's still there to this day that she was in before she actually died.
When she's like getting the vapors and she's pregnant and shit. And
yeah, when they're in the Mexican restaurant, that's still there. And that was the restaurant she went to before she went home that night and was killed.
So it feels like the whole point of this is that, like I said, this is Tarantino's love letter to the 60s in Hollywood. And he wanted to envision a world where the Manson family murders never happen. And like a lot of people viewed this as the end of like the free love 60s. And it was the Manson family murders that woke everybody up. Then you go into 70s, you get into Vietnam and shit like that.
Yeah.
And he wanted to kind of envision a world where none of that happened and you just keep going. Mm-hmm. Like you keep going with this happy-go-lucky lifestyle and everybody's fine.
Yeah.
So that's what I took away from this, and that's why I don't understand why everybody's telling me I didn't get it, because I'm pretty sure I got it, unless somebody can tell me what I'm missing here.
Nope, you're dumb.
Okay,
you know
fair.
what that's what it is. I love Tarantino movies. There are so many diehard Tarantino fans. And this was a great movie. It was, I don't know if you're going to call it his masterpiece.
It was fine.
But there wasn't,
It
like,
was
you
fine.
want to think there's some really deep meaning to it. And I don't
There's
necessarily think there was.
No.
And people want to have that thought just to make the movie better itself. And
I don't
because
give
it's
a
Tarantino.
fuck what highway you're on in Hollywood. Shut the fuck up. I don't care. That's like me telling you guys a story about my cousin that you've never met, and also the story is really fucking boring. I don't fucking care if you were on the PCH or the 101. Shut up.
When did that happen in the movie?
Fucking Brad
I
Pitt
don't
does it.
remember either.
Brad Pitt, they're showing the episode of FBI that
And that was an actual real show, by the way, too. And it
yeah,
was terrible.
all the shows they mentioned, well, not Bounty or whatever.
Yeah.
That one's not real. But most of the shows they mentioned were real. Mm-hmm. And like the guy that was on ABC reporting from Hollywood was real. Like those are, this is Tarantino's love letter to the 60s. 100%, no doubt. But a lot of this shit is just like, I don't fucking care. It's masturbatory of Hollywood. I don't care. That's it. Anything else you guys want to get out before we end our spoilers and get on to recommendations?
What'd you think about one of the only times we see, who was that played Charles Manson?
He's in this for what, 30 seconds?
Yeah.
I don't know the guy's name, but so this is another thing that I got an issue with is either this is about Manson or it's not. Mm-hmm. Adding him in there just
Why does
seems
it be so black and white?
superfluous. What do you mean?
Superfluous. What the fuck does that mean?
It's like you on this podcast. You're superfluous.
Over the top, best in the world?
No, it means useless. No, it wasn't necessary to have him in there for the 30 seconds that he's there. The references were enough. Mm-hmm. Like when they're talking about, oh, Charlie would love you. We have to do what Charlie says. Like that's enough for me, because the scene where you actually see him is just kind of like, oh, okay, now what?
Having him in the movie makes the Manson murders more real, in my opinion, and it also builds. It adds that element of building suspense. Like, oh, they go out of their way to, cast Charles Manson. They're obviously going to have, go all the way with the murders, but it kind of gave you that again with the misdirect with Quentin Tarantino.
I disagree, because this movie already expects you to know a certain amount about the Manson family murders. So if you need Charles Manson to actually show up to understand what's going on, you're already lost.
I think it was more about the scene, though, that took place of him.
Just him walking up to the house.
Yeah, because that actually happened. He was there looking for Terry Melcher, and in real life, he saw Sharon Tate, and they locked eyes. Mm-hmm. Supposedly, like he saw her there in the doorway.
Okay.
So I think he was really trying to play into is something going to happen at the end that you all think is going to happen, but I want to throw this in there so you know the tension that's there of Charles Manson seeing Sharon Tate.
Okay. I look,
They
I'm
set up
open to someone
everything-
changing my mind about this.
Yeah, all I'm saying is I think it's not just throwing in Charles Manson. I think it's more throwing him into that specific scene of what happened.
Okay. Fair.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. Damn it, too many
Sounds like it was super important.
natter days. Yep.
All right. Should we wrap this up and move on to our recommendations for the week?
Yes, let's wrap it up
Down.
immediately.
All
I
right,
need to
let me
get back
pull
to the
off
boys,
the-
which is my recommendation. Like I said before, I would not stop watching this. The only reason I stopped was to do this podcast. So honestly, I was like hesitant on starting it, but once I started it, within the first 5 minutes, I was like, all right, I'm in. I'm sold. The Boys, Amazon Prime. Sick.
Sorry, I just disappeared you off the screen for a second. I'm trying to hide this spoiler warning.
Okay. I think that was my recommendation. Mark?
There we go. Okay, I have another Amazon Prime show. I finally finished Good Omens. This was kind of something I was watching on the train. It's David Tennant and Michael Sheen. This is a super British show, but it's based on a Neil Gaiman book. I happen to really like Neil Gaiman for his weird storytelling. We talked about Sandman, which is being made into a TV show. And I loved American Gods, the book. The TV show kind of missed the mark for me. I think it's on Stars or Showtime. It's on something that's not HBO.
It's American Gods with like that horse head dude, or what is it? Like a bear head guy or something?
I don't think so.
Never mind. I thought there was like a half human, half animal.
That sounds like something you're making up, but sure.
Maybe
It was Midsummer.
Yeah, so I like this. It's basically heaven and hell are trying to start the apocalypse, but it's funnier than it sounds when you say it like that. Like they're trying to start up Armageddon. Basically, they
Angel and demon have lived together throughout human life, like since Adam dropped the apple or ate the apple or whatever, or Eve ate the apple. And then they
David
continue
Tennant
out
is the
their
snake
friendship or like
David Tennant is the snake that convinced Adam to eat the apple. And then Aziraphale was there. The whole thing is like Neil Gaiman does his fucking research. Like for whatever he's doing. When he did American Gods, he was reading all these different mythological gods for all these different cultures and religions and shit. He knows his stuff. He's a huge weirdo, but he knows his stuff, and that there's no discounting that. So,
like the middle of the season episode where they go through the entire history of how Angel and Demon know each other was like fascinating to me. Like that part, just that part alone was worth watching the series, in my opinion.
Completely agree. So this is I recommend this. I think it's worth a watch. I don't really know what else to say. It's I mean the CGI is kind of low level, but whatever. It's an Amazon show, and if you have Amazon Prime, you're already getting it for free. So shut up.
Yeah, I didn't mind the CGI. Didn't factor into it.
Mark, what do you recommend?
Got to go with DJ Snake's new album. We don't talk about music much at all on this podcast, so it's Carte Blanche. I'm not French, so I don't know if I'm saying that
Blanche.
Right. Carte Blanche.
Yeah, like very close.
I should have known that because Blanche. I would have said Blanchy, but knowing me being
Thank
an American,
you for not saying that.
I should have dropped the E on the Carte. I knew it wasn't there.
There you go. Almost. You almost had
it.
I
knew I didn't know. It's actually really good. There's a song with like Bryson Tiller on there. There's a bunch of people he throws on his songs. But if you like EDM, a lot of the songs aren't even that much EDM. Like it's good vibe and music. So check it out. He has a really good album he just dropped. DJ Snake.
Sick.
Wait, can I have one more recommendation? Can it be?
No, how dare you? Shut the fuck up.
Our newest drop. I just want to see Mark's face when we drop it. And it will be hopefully a recurring segment. We didn't talk about any of Leo's upcoming films or Brad Pitt's or Margot Robbie's. Well, we did, but we didn't. We'll get back. We'll get into that next episode because I definitely want to talk about Leo's upcoming films because they're insane.
Post-apocalyptic. Dude, that is so funny. Post-apocalyptic. Come on, dude. Post
Malone. Mark is going home and practicing this in a mirror at night.
In the mirror, absolutely, all the time. Post-apocalyptic peace.
Ain't nothing wrong with trying to make yourself better.
It's true.
That's true. It's very true.
But also, fuck you. Thanks for tuning in to episode 153 of the Chumpcast.
Damn,
as always,
a lot of episodes.
You can find us on social media at the Chumpcast. It's funny that you say that because I had to go back to episode, I think it was 72, to find that drop.
Really?
It was the first time that you fucked up post-apocalyptic on the air.
What episode was it?
It was the first episode of 2018. I had to go through our RSS feed, and I knew that I had mentioned in the show notes that like Mark can't say post-apocalyptic. So I did like a
that would have been right after
F.
Logan. I feel like
that was before Logan.
Really?
Logan came out in February.
I thought Logan was a 2017 movie.
If it was early 2017. But this was the first episode we did in 2018.
I bet you Mark's not wrong because he fucked up post-apocalyptic the most times of all time.
Yes, definitely. But this was actually the Black Mirror episode that we did. So,
oh, nice.
Anyways, that's where I found it, and I don't remember what else was saying. You can call or text us at 847-920-6107. And until next time,
Chumps out, motherfuckers.
Peace.